At my husband's $10,000 luxury birthday dinner I paid for, he toasted his work girlfriend instead. I can still hear the laughter from that night echoing in my head, expensive wine glasses clinking, fake smiles flashing, and my husband's voice proudly booming across the room. It was supposed to be his night, a celebration of success, love, and family. But it became the night I stopped being his wife, and became his worst regret. Daniel turned 40 that night. He called it a milestone. I called it a test of love. He wanted everything perfect. A luxury dinner at one of the best restaurants in the city, designer decorations, fine wine, and a live jazz band. And of course, he wanted it all paid for with our money, by me. I didn't mind. I'd always supported him. I'd stood by him through job losses, debt, and nights when we could barely afford to keep the lights on. I believed that loyalty and love meant investing in your partner. What I didn't know was that I was investing in a man who had already moved on emotionally, and financially, to someone else. The night started beautifully. The restaurant glowed with candlelight, and everyone complimented how stunning it all looked. Daniel wore his favorite suit, another thing I paid for. He smiled, hugged friends, and bragged about his amazing life. Then she arrived. Clara. His so-called work wife. I'd heard the name before, too many times. A woman from his office who always seemed to be there for him. He used to say, "You'd like her, she's just friendly." I wanted to believe that. I really did. But the moment she walked in, I saw something in his eyes, a look he hadn't given me in years. A spark. A hunger. He followed her with his gaze as she crossed the room in a red dress, and my heart dropped. I knew that look. Every wife does. Dinner went on, and I sat there smiling through the pain, pretending I didn't notice the little things. How he leaned closer to whisper something to her. How she giggled too loudly. How their hands brushed a little too long when passing the wine. Then came the toast. The part I'd been waiting for. He stood up, tall and proud, tapping his glass to get everyone's attention. First, he said, "I want to thank my beautiful wife for organizing all this." My heart lifted. For a moment, I felt seen. But then he continued. "And most importantly, I want to thank someone who's been my real support, my light, my best friend at work, Clara." The room clapped. People smiled. Some looked at me awkwardly. My hands trembled as I forced a smile, my throat dry, my stomach twisting. I'd paid for this dinner, for the food, the wine, the decorations, and the toast that humiliated me in front of everyone. I didn't say a word. I just looked at him, and in that moment, I promised myself, he'd regret this. That night, when we got home, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just went quiet. He didn't even notice. He was too busy texting someone, and I didn't have to guess who. From that day, everything changed. For years, I'd been living under financial abuse without realizing it. He controlled the money, questioned every expense, told me I was bad with finances. But I was smarter than he thought. Quietly, I'd been saving, building my own accounts, making small investments, starting a freelance business in my name. While he thought I was dependent, I was planning my freedom. He got lazier at hiding things. Late nights at the office became business trips. Credit card bills showed perfume purchases, expensive dinners, hotel charges. I kept records of everything. Every lie. Every receipt. Every text message. I played my part perfectly, the devoted wife, kind and supportive. I cooked his favorite meals, kissed him goodbye in the mornings, and acted like nothing was wrong. He didn't know he was sleeping beside someone who was already planning her exit, and his downfall. 3 months later, I told him I was planning a weekend getaway. Something special just for us, to reconnect. He looked surprised but pleased. I booked it at the same luxury resort where he once took Clara on a business retreat. When we got there, he was glowing. "This is nice," he said, kissing me on the cheek. "Happy you like it," I replied, handing him an envelope. He opened it, expecting some romantic letter. Instead, he found divorce papers, along with copies of the evidence I'd collected, screenshots, receipts, pictures. His face went pale. "What is this?" he stammered. "This," I said calmly, "is your toast coming back to haunt you." He tried to talk, to explain, to twist things as he always did, but I'd already taken control. My lawyer had filed everything. The accounts were frozen. Half the assets were in my name. And Clara? She'd already left him, for his business partner. He stared at me in disbelief, like a man realizing too late that the person he underestimated had outsmarted him completely. "You'll regret this," he spat. I smiled. I already did. For 10 years. After I left, I felt something I hadn't felt in years, peace. I started over from scratch, but this time it was mine. My money. My choices. My freedom. I learned that revenge doesn't always mean destroying someone. Sometimes it means rebuilding yourself so completely that they can never reach you again. People called me strong, brave, even inspiring. But I wasn't any of those things at first. I was just tired. Tired of being small, of being silenced, of being treated like a background character in my own life. Slowly, I found my strength again. I started speaking about financial independence, helping women recognize emotional and financial abuse. I learned what it means to truly be a high-value woman, not because of money, but because of self-worth. Now, whenever I remember that $10,000 dinner, I don't feel pain anymore. I feel power. Because that night didn't break me, it woke me up. And when Daniel sees me now, confident, free, successful, I know he feels it too. The regret. The loss. The realization that he toasted the wrong woman that night. They say revenge is best served cold. But mine? It was served at the same luxury dinner table where he once humiliated me, and it tasted like freedom.